And then I would call people right out of the newspapers that needed jobs, and I'd say, listen, you know, I'd call Joe in there. He says he was a gardener. I said, Joe, I understand you're looking for a gardening job. He said, yes, I am. I said, listen, Joe, I don't need anybody to mow my lawn. How would you like to make an extra $2,000 a month over and above your present income? Would you be interested in taking a look at it? He said, yeah, I would. I said, listen, there's a meeting tonight. Come on down. I set up a little stand on the corner on Robertson Boulevard. Cost me about 10 bucks, this little stand. And I was actually selling little Dixie cup milkshakes out on the street corner for 50 cents at a time, just to get people to try my product back then. Okay? Here's what you do when it's disappointing. Here's what you do when it doesn't look like it's going to work. Here's what you do. You do what it takes. That's what you do. See, I didn't start with a $50 distributor kit with the attitude, I wonder if this is going to work. I hope it's going to happen. No way. My entire life was dependent on whether it was going to work for me in Herbalife. And regardless of what my relatives said, or what my friends said, or what the circumstances were, by golly, I was going to make it, period. And when you got that kind of attitude, there's nobody that can get you down. There's nothing that can get in your way. And let me tell you what people want that are around you. They want leadership. They want someone who knows that they're going to make it. They want someone who says, by golly, I'm going to make it no matter what. Do you want in or do you want out? And I'll tell you what, pretty soon there was 3 or 4 people following me. And pretty soon there was 6 and 7 people following me. And pretty soon there was 20 people following me. And my goodness, after this last couple of days, look at what's happening. And let me tell you something. Couple, 2 or 3 years from now, we're not going to be able to have enough stadiums in the United States to hold people to make this thing go. I hope one of these days when we have our extravaganzas, we have to hook it up on satellite. Every single convention center, not country by country, state by state. Region by region, okay? All over the place this is going to happen. And you know, everybody always says, well, geez, nothing like that could really happen. Some of you were back around in the old days, right? Came to this thing and said, my goodness, what an unbelievable thing that's happening to us here. And all you got to do is keep doing it. Your success, where you go in life, is only limited to your own imagination and your own hard work. No wonder I'm stuck where I'm at right now in life, because I only got this big of imagination. Hey, but in the future, it's going to even be bigger. And in the future from that, it's going to keep getting bigger. And you know what? This is not a joke, gang. And some of the reasons why I'm telling you this is don't let yourself be in the same circumstances that happened to some of those people that sat in those first meetings with me, who missed it then, and they're missing it now, and they're going to miss it a year from now if they don't take some action. Take the things that you've been learning from this week and take it and put it into action. Don't think about everything. Don't worry if everything's perfect. You don't need everything perfect. Let me tell you how you get perfect. Do it 1,000 times. Do it 10,000 times. No, but I didn't know if everything was going to work in Herbalife. I knew one thing: if I put it out 1,000 times, I'd find out. Everything's not going to be perfect to you, gang. You're not going to get from where you are right now at World Team to Millionaire Team without making, I want you to write this down, a lot of mistakes. And you're not going to get to a Millionaire Team without a lot of problems. Listen, it's an impossibility to get to Millionaire Team without having lots of problems. And trust me, you'll have more problems getting to Millionaire Team than you did getting to the World Team. And you're going to have more problems than that from where you are from the Millionaire Team to the President's Team. And you're going to have even more problems than that when you get to the Chairman's Club. And if you're lucky enough in life to end up finally being like me, you'll be in a fortunate circumstance to have a real bummer like last night. because that's the way it is. We were teaching them this the other day in the chairman's class. I said, let me tell you something. They said, well, hey, can we make the supervisor schools better? Of course we can. Can we get everybody to pitch perfect? Of course we'll try that. Can we get all the systems to be completely perfect? Well, of course we'll try that. Can we make certain that 8,000 people don't try to tear the doors down to get their Orlando dollars yesterday morning? Of course we'll try to accommodate that. Let me tell you something. We're going to have some problems between now and the time we get to 1.5 billion. And we're going to have even more problems than that going to 3 billion. That's just the way it is. And write this down in your notes. The bigger the problem, the bigger the paycheck. You guys should see how many problems I got. You also ought to see my paycheck. I don't know if you guys know this, but I was the first distributor and everybody else is underneath me. It's all how you think about stuff. We started the first night and some of the people that were trying to run this place were saying, there's too many people, there's too many people, there's too many people. I said, what do you mean there's too many people? There's not enough people. My goodness, what's wrong with everybody? Everything that you do is just how you face it. You got to deal with the circumstances and make the best of it and go on. And one of the best lines I ever heard when I was a young man was from Dick Marconi. Because Dick was like Dick was like my father, let's face it, when I got going. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have a father. I never even met the guy till I was 21, and then we never even, shook hands really too much until I was 28. And then after that, we never even got together. Finally, one day, I said, listen, you want to go to my house with me in Maui? Could you imagine saying that? Hey? I said, you want to go to my home in Hawaii, and let's spend a week together, and I'll see if we like each other. And if we like each other, great. If we don't, we'll shake hands, and that'll be the end of the program. Okay? But when I got started, I didn't have anybody that was guiding me. And Dick was kind of like my father image, He had already made a lot of money. He had already been successful. He saw this young punk off the street who really wanted to try to make it. And we had some real devastating things that happened to me and the company in 1985 that weren't real pleasant to live through. And I'll never forget Dick Marconi taking me in a room, and he said, Mark, I want to tell you something. He says, if the experience doesn't kill you, you'll be a better man for it. And I got to tell you something. In 1985, I learned more about my life and more about living and more about what I was doing in business through the hardest times in my life, not through the best times in my life. Because when things are difficult and when things are not good, your true character in life, how much of a man or a woman you're going to be, is that's when it really shows. That's when it shines. That's when you can teach yourself the most. That's when you can teach your children the most. Okay? That's when you can teach your downline the most. That's when you can provide it for your family. Listen, all of our families need someone that they can look up to. And let me tell you, not just our families. It starts family by family, town by town. But let me tell you what we're doing in Herbalife. We're teaching the world how they ought to be able to live. Everybody needs some guidance in this world today. My goodness, if you look at the circumstances in the world today, with the fighting that's going on, with the people that don't love each other, with the people that can't get along with things, where else can we have a room in the world today where there's so many different languages and so many different personalities and so many different religious situations where everybody can come together at one single time with one common bond to help people with better nutrition and to help people better their lives? We got to be the most outstanding leadership that's running this world. Really, this is what it's about. Wouldn't it be something, back in the late 70s, a new person came on the scene, Sylvester Stallone, and it was Rocky that became America's hero. And then we had Schwarzenegger, the Terminator. Hey, he was a hero. And of course, way back when, Superman was the hero. Wouldn't it be incredible in the decade 2000 that the papers wrote, we needed a new hero and Herbalife was the company that shined. Seriously, wouldn't it be something? Because that's what Herbalife's about, is becoming a hero. Starting at 5 pounds and getting up to your 100-pound goal. God, when I saw that lady up on stage the other night getting her 100-pound pin for the very first time, can you imagine how that woman's life has got to have changed, losing 300 and whatever pounds it is? You know what it'd be like to lose 300 pounds? Just think about how heavy you are, double it, and think of losing it. I mean, that's amazing. Just the amount of comfortability she must feel in her legs and her feet not aching all day has got to be tremendous. Probably being able to just walk around halfway decent has got to be the most unbelievable thing. Okay? That's being a hero, the weight loss heroes of Herbalife. Starting from where you guys are and getting to 5,000 or 10,000. That's the American dream. And we're trying to take that around the world, gang, and that's something that is awesome. We cannot lose the free enterprise system in the world, okay? That cannot be lost, because let me tell you something, our future generation, our children, are going to need something to look up to. And that their children are going to need something to look up to. I can't tell you how excited I was seeing this children convention here, where these kids are starting to think about Herbalife, and their parents are starting to become outstanding citizens in the community. What an incredible thing to know that our children are growing up like that, with free enterprise in mind, rather than just being a slave with a boss that's going to put them down, not give them their raises, make them feed them coffee all day long. What an incredible thing we're doing for our children. There's so many reasons to do this thing called Herbalife. Of course, there's reasons to do it for your weight loss and your health. There's reasons to do it for your own successes. But there's so many reasons to do it for someone else too. To be able to help someone lose that weight. Listen, where are they going to go to really do that? Where is the hope today for them to use something that's going to be able to make them feel good? Hey, listen, just the weight loss business in America is $36 billion. Where are they going to go for something that's really, truly going to help them out? There's so many reasons to do this, to just help someone lose weight.